We are all God's children. When I stand before God, I don't think He's going to ask me how to cook barbecue. I think He'll ask me how I treated His children while I was here. Home is South Lake, Texas. It's where I currently live. I've been there 20 plus years. My original home where I grew up was in Garland. I lived on the south end of Garland. Well, like any typical family in Garland back in the 70s and 80s, it was a crazy family, okay? That's what we were. We didn't have a lot of money growing up. You know, it was pretty basic. But we did have big get-togethers for the holidays. We'd always have family coming over, and they would sit up and play cards and dominoes for a few days over the weekend. So it wasn't terrible. It certainly wasn't, you know, a Highland Park type growing up, but we made do with what we had, and I think it built a little bit of character. The values that we had were just your basic do unto others type values. I was about 9 years old, and I actually stole something from a grocery store one time, and I went home as a little toy. My mom knew I didn't have any money, and she finally broke me down, and she made me walk back with her to the grocery store, find the manager, and tell him exactly what I did, and I never stole another thing in my life. I had earned a scholarship coming out of high school. I wanted to go to college. I thought I'd be an ag teacher or I was going to be a vet. But I also had applied to the phone company during senior skip day. Everybody went out and partied, and I went and applied for a job. And I was actually the only one out of 15 that passed the entrance exam. And I talked to my ag teacher about it. You know, what should I do? Should I go to work for the phone company? Should I go to college? And gave me two rules. You raise your hand every time they look for a volunteer, and you never say no to something they ask. And I did. I left, and I graduated on Saturday, June the 8th of 1982. I went home, took off my cap and gown, moved out of the house, and I started work Monday, June the 10th, 1982 at the phone company. And I stayed there the next 31 years, 6 months, 20 days, and 18 hours. They took a ragtag kid out of Garland, Texas in 1982, and they trained me up one side and down the other. I experienced so many things that people even at the phone company today won't be able to experience. Then they turned me into an engineer. They sent me travel up one side. I had all kinds of computer certifications, network certifications, and every single day was an adventure for me. And then all of a sudden this digital revolution came in, and it's that same aspect. They were looking for people to get trained on that, and I'm just like my ag teacher said, I'm your guy. I went and did electronics school. We had to get electronics certified, everything else, and I passed all those courses. And I got to bring in all the digital circuits in the 90s, and that was such a great technology. And then toward the end of the 90s came the broadband revolution, and they're bringing fast internet to your home, not just a dial-up anymore. And I got on that crew. And then I got a call to help them engineer and design and roll out a little network they called Uverse. So I got to help them engineer, design, roll out TV service over your phone line. So of the first 31 years was the greatest adventure of the world. But the last 6 months, 20 days and 18 hours, it was a job. And I wasn't having fun. And something had changed with it. So we had looked and explored our options about retiring. And sure enough, it was in the December of 2012. They actually had a buyout, one they haven't had in about 12 years, and it was a real good one. So I was 49 at the time, and I took the buyout and started up. Of course, they asked me 2 or 3 times to come back as a contractor, but once I shut that door is closed. But the whole time I was there, I was always cooking. It didn't just come overnight. I've been doing this for a little bit. Since I was 10, actually, so that's 51 years. I was cooking on the side. I would cook for my splicing crews. Every Thanksgiving, we would do something, and I was always the one cooking, and I was doing competitions on the weekend. Slowly but surely, after the competition world, I got into catering, and once that took off, I would do it on my free time on the weekends. Well, the catering business picked up, and we did that full time for 3 years after I retired, and it was a great life. I always had kind of a servant's heart. You know, I've always said it. I don't know why. I always liked serving, helping out. We did different relief organizations. We were on the ground within 24 hours up in Joplin in 2011 after the big tornado. And we served people for about 21 days in a parking lot at the corner of Rangeline and 96th Street. We created a nonprofit organization. It's still out there. It's called Operation Barbecue Relief. We were all over the country, been all over the place. We were up in Moore, Oklahoma after the tornado. Down in Waco after the fertilizer plant exploded down there. The big grain elevator exploded. And we've served millions of meals. A great-granddad was a servant. He was a missionary man. He was down in Mexico, actually. To this day, his heart is still entombed in the mission down in Mexico when he died down there. And they went to bring his body back, and they wanted to keep him there. So my grandmother and her sisters and my great-grandmother made a deal, and they actually took a brick out of the wall of that mission, entombed his heart, and put the brick back. And you can look on Google Maps right now, that mission is still there, still standing to this day. So, I don't know, maybe I've got a little bit of him in me. I really never dreamed of starting my own barbecue restaurant. I love the catering world. I didn't think there would be the human interaction in a restaurant. I thought it would be more just blow and go type stuff, which we do stay busy. But after about 3 years of doing that, I fed a man down the road who was property manager of the Corral City, what it used to be over there. Fed him at a catering. And he was insistent that I open up a food trailer. And he would not take no for an answer. And I turned him down for about 3 months. I wasn't interested. And he finally broke me down. He said, I'm gonna set up your trailer. I'm gonna give you electricity. I'm not even gonna charge you rent. You just need to get your food out there. So I made an agreement with him that I would set the trailer up. If I didn't like it, if I wasn't having the same experience, I'd drag the trailer out in the pasture and just keep on doing what I'm doing. And I was wrong. I enjoy it. I've had a great time. We opened up the first day, and we've kind of been drinking from a fire hose ever since. And so we opened up the trailer, and immediately it was, going into the winter, opening a food trailer is not the greatest thing in the world, but it was a success. And then we knew we needed a dining room because people were standing out in the cold rain in November and asking us. We had an opportunity at the time. There's a restaurant over in South Lake called Shuck Me. I know the owner, and at the time, he had asked me to come look at the building. It wasn't Shuck Me back then. So we went and looked at it. It was a great location. It was a restaurant. It wasn't a food trailer, and it's cold and it's raining in November. And he said, maybe a nice offer. He wanted to turn that into my barbecue joint. And then we would he would finish it out. We would I'd run it. We would split the net. It was a great offer. But my wife and I talked about it. We actually prayed about it. And see? Well, anyway, it was, the analogy that I've given is like when you wake up on Sunday morning and you're a kid and the carnival's in town. And you're gonna get to go to the carnival on Sunday, but they pulled out Saturday night. So I told Leslie, I said, we kind of set up out here. People are standing out in the cold rain. And if we just leave, it's like the carnival pulled out of town overnight. So I called him up and told him, I said, it's probably the dumbest thing I've ever done. But I said, we kind of set our flag here in Argyle, and I like it. So we stayed, and it's worked out really well. We stayed there and outgrew that. They gave us a corner lot, and we put a shack in. I called it the shack. It's just another portable building, but a lot bigger. And then we jammed them together, and we cut a hole wherever the buildings matched up. We cut a hole in the wall, and that was our serving window. We just didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. And we stayed there for about a year and a half. We got so big over there that they asked us to leave, which was a little bit of a scary proposition. And just a few days later, just like everything always works out, this building became available out of nowhere. So we got it, demoed the whole thing down to scratch, and started over and built this restaurant, and we've just gone ever since. I didn't know how to put this restaurant together, I'll be honest with you. I'd been working in a little 16 by 52 kitchen. I wanted to keep it a basic design. I'm not a very opulent person at all, okay? I just like it nice and simple. We tried to keep everything just as local and authentic as we could. The barn tent that you see, the chair railing around here, is an actual barn that was from the early 1900s right over here off Fott Road. We've always had a big passion for law enforcement and military. We started collecting patches when we were over at the shack. kitchen is wide open. I designed it that way so you can see everything about my restaurant. You can see your food being prepared right in front of your eyes. We go as fast as we can, but I'm not going to slop it together. I want you to see my employees work. I want the employees to see the customers here. Our mission, our goal is to treat people right, treat them honest, give them a good product. You know, we have 2 rules, customer service and food quality. And that's the way I want to keep that. I'm preparing stuff that I did 20 years ago, 25 years ago when I was catering. It's the same type of stuff. You know, mac and cheese, we've tweaked the recipe a little bit on the mac and cheese. The baked beans, obviously gonna be the same thing. The green beans are seasoned the same way. We developed our green chili cream corn, that recipe when we were over at the Shack. So that recipe is probably about 8 years old. Meat's still the same. It's always gonna be the same. I talked to a gentleman who turned me on to a broker out of Chicago, a meat broker. What they were doing is where we get our meats now, they had their own private small ranches. They were all running one bloodline from a prime Black Angus. So it's farm to table where we get ours. It's not commodity. So they sent me some, and it's great. I mean, I love it. So I explained to them, I said, I don't know you and you don't know me. But I said, I'll take everything that you have, but I'm gonna be your only customer in Texas. Everybody's getting beat up in the world right now, okay? When you pull off a 407 and you come in here, I'm an oasis. Come in here, listen to a little cheesy country music, just sit together and eat. And it's kind of a communal type thing, because by the time you get back on the road, the world's gonna greet you again and your problems are still gonna be there. People come to the counter and it's, you know, this is the greatest I've had and I've been all over and I haven't found it like this. I mean, he just paid for it. It wasn't like he's just giving me a testimonial because they gave him a free plate of food. So that's a great feeling. It's a great comfort. Anybody that's in this business, any restaurant will tell you, especially barbecue, it's a lot of work to prepare it. Your meal that you're getting served today with these meats, a lot of them started 36 hours ago in the process. Okay, so it's multiple steps around the kitchen, multiple things to do just to prepare a few slices that are on your tray. Okay, so you take a good set of proteins, a good set of sides, get them plated on a meal, and then you have a great meal and somebody really likes it. And that's a comforting feeling. It was kind of like when I was growing up. Those were fun times. We had big family reunions. All the family would go on the holidays and everybody just sits around, and that's kind of why we have it. We over portion everything. I mean, the number 1 item of my stock in this restaurant is to-go boxes. Okay, so we know we're giving big portions and we're not really stupid. It's, you know, we got you. And we wanted everybody to be satisfied and full, then they take a little bit home, then they get to relive that experience. Wow, we're good. I need to go back. 407 barbecue is all about people. It's all about good food and just getting along with other people, having a good meal. So I want it to be worth your visit. I want you to embrace the area, embrace the restaurant, have a good time, and we'll see you when you're hungry again.